Hey everybody, Brownie5 with the Naughty Doctors here, and I wanted to bring you a new series called How to Scout. Today we're going to talk about the very basics of scouting and what I consider the top 5 things to look for, kind of regardless of the level you're at. It becomes more specialized the higher you go, but when it's Town Hall 4, 5, 6 in War, I just want to cover the top 5 things that I feel are most important to successfully assessing the base and then trying to suss out how to actually attack it. I just got some sweet gear. So now that I got that, let's go ahead and let's scout a base from our upcoming war. You can see, as per usual, we are outmatched by about 5 levels on the clan cast, or the clan level. But anyway, we're gonna jump down here, grab this guy, and the first item I have that I do still, I'm a Town Hall 9, but still, regardless of when I was 7 or 8 or whatever, getting into wars, the first thing I always did was I would click on the Town Hall. In this case, it tells me it's a Town Hall 5. I get the little info button, but the other thing it does, if I click on another building real quick, you see it outlines where the undroppable areas are. So this part that's outlined with the white line, anything inside that you can't drop a troop on. Anything outside that you can. So that's the first thing I have, or that I do, is I click on a building. If I want to see anything about it, how many hit points it has. If it's a defensive building like this air defense, it shows me its range, so I can see where, let's say I was doing a dragon attack on this base. I now know where the dragons will get attacked, or if I'm dropping balloons, I'll see where the balloons will start to get fired upon. Same thing goes for archer towers. Mortars are a little different. Notice how there's an inner ring and an outer ring that kind of forms a donut. So the way mortars work is anything inside that ring, the mortar cannot hit. It can only fire kind of in that donut area. So anything outside that outer circle it can't hit. Anything inside the inner circle it can't hit, but that donut area, fair game. We'll look at another base maybe in a little bit, see if it has an air sweeper that has a different type of range to it. The next thing that I think is important after you're kind of assessing, the buildings and kind of where the structures are, is check the corners. Here you can see we don't have any builder huts or any stray items in the corners. A lot of times what happens is at lower levels, builder huts or storages will be put in the corners because you'll focus your main attack force on this middle area. You'll go through and it'll take you 2.5 minutes to wipe out that middle section. And then before you know it, all of a sudden your troops need to go to the top corner and the left corner to take out a builder hut. And all of a sudden you run out of time and you get that 99% 2-star. Nothing is more frustrating than that. If we pop over and check out this 19, they're 19, you'll see they actually do have 2 builder huts in the south corner, in the bottom corner, and in the right corner. Here, if we click on the Town Hall, we'll see it's a Town Hall 6, and obviously you can see they have more stuff. Their walls are upgraded more, their defenses are upgraded more. But if you look, their clan castle is a little offset. So you'll find that a lot when you get into different lower level bases, and as you get higher, you'll find the clan castle's actually built dead center, makes it hard to pull. And the reason we look for the clan castle is what I just said. We want to pull the troops out or lure the troops out. It's a common phrase that we use. So you'll see the clan castle, unlike the Town Hall, the clan castle actually has a range to it. So if any troop gets within that range, it will pull whatever troops are in the clan castle for defense out. Sorry about that. Cat was in the way. So anyway, as I was saying, any troop that you drop, let's say you dropped a giant by the archer tower on the bottom right side. The giant walks into this circle, it will pull out whatever's in there. So as you start to get into wars more and you see clan castles that can hold 15 troops, 20 troops, 25, there starts to become a consistent type of troop that people put in there based on damage they can deal and hit points that the troop has. So we'll talk about that maybe later in this video or in a different video. But basically, you kind of start to learn, one, where the clan castle is, how to draw those troops out, and two, depending on what's in there, how to take it out and how to best guess as to what's in there. The fourth thing that I have is look for gaps. So when you click on any item in here, oh, here's that air sweeper I was talking about. You can see its range, it's directional, so it will only attack in that direction, and in this case an air sweeper just puffs air out to push things out of the way. But what I was saying is, number 4, we look for gaps. So I click on this, I see the outline of the base, and I don't see any holes within these sections. Sometimes people, when they're building their base, intentionally, unintentionally, they'll leave a hole there. Sometimes they'll do that, and then they'll put big bombs or little bombs and traps and Teslas and all kinds of things that are hidden right on that. You'll find it a lot when you're farming, actually, but we'll talk about scouting farming bases in a different video. In a war base, you want to be aware of where that is and what's around it. If there's ever a hole in the middle, there's probably a bunch of defenses around it. Because what will happen is someone will drop, maybe not thinking, not really anticipating what's going to happen, they'll drop all their troops right there, or they'll start dropping all their troops, and all the defenses just concentrate fire, and you'll see a lot of wizard towers and mortars around there, and those will just do damage to everything in that area, which kind of is what I'm going to talk about in my 5th item that I think is important. But going back to looking for gaps, the other type of gap you're looking for are these spaces between buildings. So between this barracks and between that elixir, there are 2 squares or 2 tiles. And it's kind of hard to see. And if you see, I zoom out a little bit, you can start to see there's a darker square and a lighter square. So different defenses have different widths. Obviously, different buildings have different widths. So you'll know a Tesla is a 4x4, big bomb is a 4x4 or a giant bomb. A little single bomb is a 1x1. So you'll kind of start to learn, you know, I think there is this type of trap right there, if that makes sense. Example, right next to this cannon, there's 2 single squares. There could be spring traps there. So your giants come in, they break through this wall, or maybe you have barbarians and then they come over to the clan castle, and then they step in that area, and there they go. So it just kind of depends on what the space is as to what kind of trap can be there, and it takes a little bit to learn. And I didn't say it, I guess, when I was talking about the first item, the clicking on buildings. I still click on buildings a lot because even though I can quickly look at this and I can say, okay, this is a 3x2 square right here between the little flower bed and this gold mine and then their camp or their flag, sometimes it's a little hard to see when you're starting to scout bigger bases what actually is there. So I find it super beneficial. Click on it, see what's there. Now this brings me to my the 5th point that I think is important, the 5th thing to look at when you're scouting a base, and that's where the different types of defenses are. Basically, all the defenses boil down to 2 things. One is an area attack or an area effect defense. That would be your wizard tower, your mortar. If you are unsure of what it is, when you click on, let's say we click on this wizard tower, when we hit the info button, it tells us damage type, area splash. It also tells us its range, so we can start to learn, you know, we put into memory, okay, I know a wizard tower can hit 7 tiles away, so quickly looking at where this wizard tower is, we know, you know, without having to click on it, we know it will cover that lab. But anyway, if we jump back over here, damage type, area splash, targets, ground and air. If we click on the mortar, hit the info, damage type, also area splash, targets ground only. So it's very good to know what type of defenses you're going up against and where they are. For instance, if I drop all my giants right by this lab, thinking they're going to come in and take out that wizard tower, well, while they're breaking through this wall, the wizard tower is doing damage to all my giants. At the same time, that mortar is dropping mortars on all my giants. And if I'm going to use wall breakers to break through, now I need to time my wall breakers so that they get up there, they don't take too much damage, the mortar doesn't take them out, and they can blow up that wall. And we'll talk more about maybe specific tactics in a different video, but that's just a quick example of why it's important to know what kind of defenses you're dealing with. If you look at cannons, archer towers, the air defense, those are all what we would call point defenses, in that they attack one specific target and take it out. Depending on how many point defenses are near each other, when you get higher up, you'll want to use golems and giants and bigger hit point troops to tank. So the idea of what it means to have a tank troop versus a damage dealing troop, or a DPS, which is damage per second troop. And we'll talk more about that, like I said, different video, getting into tactics and stuff like that. But really understanding what types of troops you have, what types of defenses you have, where they're located, and how you're going to go up against them is really, really important. In another video, or in the next video, we'll talk about planning an air attack against different bases and planning a ground attack against different places. But again, these are the top 5 things that I think are important. Number 1, clicking on the buildings, understanding anything about them, the hit points, the info, if it's a defense, its range. The second thing, checking the corners. Do we have any stray buildings that we want to account for? So maybe when we're starting to attack, we want to drop that archer or a barbarian on each one of those, just so that we don't run out of time and get a 98% 2-star because we didn't account for the corners. Third thing, the clan castle pull. Clicking on that clan castle, seeing where its range is, knowing where you want to pull the troops out of, how to deal with different things. The fourth thing, looking for any gaps. So if we zoom in here, like I said, we have a two square space between the barracks and the elixir collector. That kind of tells us what kind of traps could be there. If you see spaces where the defense is right up against the wall, but then there's a space, so like right here, there are some open spaces before this air sweeper. There's probably a spring trap there and a single bomb, one of the little bombs, maybe 2 spring traps, because fun fact, what would happen is I want to attack that archer tower, so I'm going to drop all my giants. Well, they'll come down here because that air sweeper isn't fully enclosed by walls, so the giant AI will say, we'll go to the air sweeper first, it's going to be quicker. So they'll all come down there, hit the spring trap, go flying. But then that brings us to the last point, the 5th one, the point defense versus area defense. Just knowing where they are, how you're going to drop your troops, how you're going to take care of them, and just kind of planning out your attack. Definitely ask your clan, what do you think about doing this? What kind of troops should I take here? I think this is in the clan castle, how should I kill it? Wizards are taken out, if wizards are in the clan castle, they're taken out differently than dragons, than lava hounds, and whatever. So definitely use your clan and hopefully this video to better understand scouting the base, just the general scouting, and what to do with the different things. Again, top 5 items. Clicking on buildings, really understanding the range and information. Checking the corners, making sure we know how to handle everything. Clan castle pull. Looking for gaps. Maybe there's a hole to drop, but maybe it's really just figuring out what kind of traps could be there. And then the last thing, the different types of defenses and where they are. So, I'm Brownie5. This is a quick and dirty rundown of scouting the base. Hopefully it helps you.